Hey guys, it's Tuesday night and welcome to Tuesday Night Hangout. We are here. We have Jade and Will with us. And tonight we're going to be talking about Hey guys, it's Tuesday night what and welcome to Tuesday Night Hangout. We are going to be talking about what we expect after 6 months of getting out of school. So anybody that's in the chat, if they want to list what they expected 6 months was and what actually was at 6 months, that would be awesome. Just to kind of give a realistic overview of what somebody, if somebody was learning how to learn how to fly, what to expect. So Will, what was your 6 month kind of, at that 6 months point, where were you at?
At the 6 month point, I was probably at about, I don't know, probably about 125 flights or so. I guess you're looking back at it, when I first decided to do this sport, and I didn't realize that's what we were going to talk about tonight, but that's awesome. I should probably read more. But when I was getting into the sport, there's the way I thought I was going to fly, and then there was the way that I actually flew. So, when I first started, I thought, I was going to go to the airport any time of the day, just, launch and go to it. Of course, we all know that's not the case. We fly in the early evening or early morning hours, usually, unless we've got cloud cover or other. But I just kind of, I took the bull by the horns and I flew every chance I could get. It's only recently that I let really nice days go by without flying. And this is after a little over a year and a half.
Yep. Yeah, because I think that's what we all think is after we get out of training, we're going to be aviators and we're going to be flying to work and flying to restaurants and the things we see on YouTube. And it was, I don't want to say a rude awakening, but boy, let me tell you, it was a different experience, even for me. At my 6 months, I'll let Jade talk for herself, but at my 6 months, I was taken off, no problem, flying around, no problem, and getting fairly comfortable. And then actually just recently, and this is kind of how I thought about this. Well, two reasons. But recently I started doing a little more training, and they had me taking off in heavier winds. And I was kind of, I'll be honest, it was a little nerve-wracking. But then I always remember my instructor in my ear, always saying, you're not going to just fall out of the air. That just never happens. I don't want to say never, but it doesn't happen. Something bad really has to happen for that. So I started to fly more and more in the wind. And now I enjoy it. Jade and I were down doing a course at our school, and he's like, all right, you go up. And I did, and I was having fun. I was bouncing all over the place, but I wasn't to the point where it's like, man, I really want to get down. I was at the point where it's like, all right, I'm gonna ride this wind, and I'm not gonna let the wind control me. I'll control it. So I was having fun, with that. And so that kind of was like, okay, what should new pilots really, look at the 6 month point, realistically. So Shane, what was your 6 month point at? If you can remember that far back.
Oh, stop. I've only been flying just past 2 years. I was scared to death. Still at 6 months. I didn't like bumps. My tolerance was not up in where I thought it should be. I was very, I didn't pull brake hardly at all during for turns or whatever. And then actually I want to say within the first year, I went to the SIV course almost right before my 1 year mark, and that was a game changer for me. So yeah, these bumps and stuff now, it doesn't really bother me at all. I know what the wing's going to do and what it can do, so I don't worry about it as much. I do try to, when the wing's oscillating back and forth or swinging left or right, I do control that. But before my 6 month, that would have never have happened. I'd have landed a mile down the road and just said, somebody come get me, because I'm not doing it. But now it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
So, sorry I'm late. I was having tile issues. And then I got really frustrated. And then, so now I'm having dinner and hanging out with you guys.
Not a problem. That's what we're here for. And Jade, where were you at your 6 months?
First off, hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I would say at 6 months, I was still hanging on for dear life, like a cat hanging from the curtains, bump tolerance wise. And I think maybe just recently, I started to break that. And like when we were down at our school a couple of weeks ago, I went up later midday after Eric went up when he was talking about his bump tolerance, having a little bit more fun. I went up after him and I thought I was going to lose my cookies, but I actually managed to do it. And I'm working on my turns a little bit more now. My very micro mini wing overs. I'm getting at least some what do you call it? Turns. My wing is
G's?
What?
Are you getting any G's now?
I think I got it once and I was kind of like, I'm not sure if I like that yet. So I'm just taking it step by step. We talked about this before we went on tonight, and I said, I'm just glad that I'm in the air, because I'm not a roller coaster person, not liking heights. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now.
I'm in the same boat. I'm happy with the progress that I've made. It's been slow, but it's been steady. And I haven't really scared myself. I haven't had any any kind of incidents while I'm doing wing overs or spirals. So I'm comfortable, and I go just a little bit harder each time. And when I say a little bit harder, I mean, normally pull 4 inches of brake. Now I'm pulling 4 1/8 inch of a brake the next time. So yeah, I'm not trying to do anything spectacular other than just have fun and keep it entertaining for myself.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest thing right there is you always want to progress at your own rate. Don't do something because you saw something on YouTube or you saw something on that your friends did. Now, earlier 10 minutes ago, I reached out to Mike Cotter, and I see that he's in the chat. Thank you very much, sir. And he's is over in Michigan, and he is at Fly My PPG. There's a school over there. And I reached out to him and said, it'd be good to see some of this expertise that he has, reaching out to a more of an advanced pilot. And these are some of the things that he said. He texted me this. He was going to come on, but he's exhausted. And I totally understand. But he said, the first thing at 6 months, the pilot is starting to become confident in their overall skills. Landing on their feet, taking off without flaws is more consistent. However, this is the danger zone. Overconfidence creates complacency, which in turn will create some type of an incident for that pilot. Typically a botched landing, and landings end up with broken prop, some bent equipment, possibly injury that could result in a visit to the hospital. Something is looming if that overconfidence overshadows the complacency. So I totally agree with that, and I can understand it. I was at that point where I was pretty confident that I could take off and land without, doing a butt landing or coming in and landing on my knees or even taking off. Still to this day, when I'm using too big of a prop, I seem to go through props and lines, but that's a whole different issue that we just won't get into. I'm starting to have a wall of props looking like our schools around the state. The second one he wrote to me here, pilots are most likely to get into some type of an accident or incident the first month or two out of training, right around the 50-hour mark and at the 200-hour mark. So, kind of shows, I think you get a little comfortable at the 200-hour mark. And I think we are coming up to that, Jade and I. And it's something to really watch out for. I have noticed for me, I would like to learn more of not really the wing overs, but the energy that is building up in the wing.
Oh, you mean acro?
Yeah, but I'm not really calling it acro because
I know you're not.
everybody knows why.
Jade's listening.
Because I'm
Exactly.
here.
I would like to learn more about the energy that builds into the wing and how to disperse that coming out of a maneuver. And I have been playing with that a lot lately, because I want to learn that before I do the barrel rolls. So,
micro mini barrel rolls.
Correct. But I know that there's a point that it's safe, extremely dangerous, and then safe again. And it's that extremely dangerous that's a lot of degrees there that wing is at. Yeah, Nick Griffith in the chat, energy management. That is exactly correct. And that's one thing that I really, really would like to learn. So, and I've been doing as much as I can to learn that, but not having too much of a success.
So how are you building up energy in your wing? Are you doing wing overs or?
Well, when you're doing a wing over, you have that energy that's built up into the wing, and usually it's going to roll into either another wing over or into a spiral, going down. And I usually will do another wing over, and then when I come out, I'll do a turn, and that's how I'm dispersing the energy in the wing. But I have done a few wing overs that you can actually feel a lot of that energy, that's built up in that wing, that you don't get out. And usually you just pendulum, basically. And that's a good way to gift wrap yourself. So that's why I'm just really watching that because I don't want to gift wrap myself. So, but there again, I don't want to be a statistic either. So, but anyways, that's the energy that I'm talking about. And I think we've all felt it, doing wingovers, just that extra energy that's in that wing. So
Yeah, that real uncomfortable feeling in your stomach as you're about to come back down into the other side. Yeah, I know what that feels like.
Well, that was after
I
you
just got
ate.
done with.
That was after you ate at the Taco Bell.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Here at Swanee, this past fly-in that they just had last weekend, I was pulling probably the biggest and hardest wingovers I have ever done. And it was to the point on the wingovers, instead of just doing this, it was actually like swooping. I'm almost certain if I was to reach up and get a wrap on one side or the other and just get that going again and pull hard, it would go all the way over. I'm 100% positive of it. I just don't have the cojones on a 27-meter wing to to pull that extra wrap and pull it.
Right.
One of these days, it's coming. I mean, I'm going to find myself at 5,000, 6,000 feet, and I'm just going to yank it. And, well, what's the worst that could happen?
I don't know, but I give Eric's left nut to see you do that.
Thank you, Will.
I was looking back. It just so happens that I documented my journey for the first year, but about 6 months in is when I had one of the spookiest flights of my flying career. And it was a midday flight and there was some cloud coverage. And it was, being honest, I did not respect the winds aloft. The ground, checked the ground wind, surface winds, and yeah, everything was good. But man, as soon as I took off, I knew I had made a terrible, terrible mistake. And that's the one that I did a downwind landing on, and could have turned out a whole lot worse. But here's what came out of that flight. Kyle Oakley said, after watching the video, he said, the wing was flying just fine. You should have just stuck with it and turned around and did what you had to do, because your wing was flying just fine. Okay, so there was that. Then a buddy of mine said, well, at least your wing can take that. And he's right. I was thinking about that. Yeah, I mean, at least ever since that time, my bump tolerance it just skyrocketed. Not to a ridiculous. I'm not saying that it made me cocky or anything. I still respect winds aloft now. But it gave me the confidence I needed in my wing and my equipment to where I wasn't so nervous about everything,
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Cotter said there's a 6-part series that Shane Denherdner, I pronounced that wrong, did on energy management. I share it with all of my students. It's absolutely invaluable. That would be something that I would really like to look at.
Me as well.
And learn a little bit more about it.
I will tell you that at Bad Apples, Four Winds, PPG, Lauren, and Shannon Michaels was there, and I showed him my wingovers video and my spirals. And Lauren looked at me and said, Shane, everything looks good, and I absolutely love how quickly you can stop your wing from oscillating after you come out of it. That gave me a whole bunch of confidence in what I'm doing as well. I asked them to tell me what I was doing wrong because I want to know so I can fix it. And he said everything looked good, and he loved how quickly I could stop my wing from, energy management. And I was just like, awesome. So I went up and did it again the next day, just a little harder.
There you go.
I did find out this weekend what I am not prepared for. So when you're doing wing overs or spiral downs, you can actually, the G forces can actually pull the gas back out of your carburetor and stall your motor. That's not a big deal. The big deal is I've been leaning on with my energy management, using my throttle, the thrust, to compensate for some of the energy management. Well, twice I did it, and I lost the motor, and I did not correct the wing quite as well as I did when the motor was running. So that taught me a little something too about energy management. And I mean, I shouldn't say I was depending on, but I did not realize I was depending on my motor to help me. Once the wing surges backwards and then comes forward, you check it, but I've also been adding a little throttle to just kind of level it out a little quicker. And I didn't have that option when my motor died the two different times. So that was interesting, that I ended up figuring out on those two times. And I was like, all right, I'm landing. I'm off. I actually was flying, I think it was Friday night, and I just couldn't get in the groove. And instead of pushing it and trying to get in the groove, I just landed and said, all right, it's dinner time. So I started making dinner. I just didn't. Have you guys ever gotten to that where you're flying and you're just not in the, I don't want to say the right mindset, because I was wanting to fly, but I couldn't get in the groove. So I landed and I was just like, I'm done with it before I end up screwing something up.
Yeah, I've done that where I was flying around. I think my groove involves Jade so much that if she goes in early, I'm going to go down early too. I'm just, because ever since day one, it's been Jade and I flying around. So if she lands early, then I will usually cut my trip short. Not that I'm making long trips.
Question in the chat from Clark's video. Mark, Eric, do you see that? I have no idea the answer to that question.
Question for the gang. When wrapping your line in your hand for pulling brake, does it have any bad effect on the Kevlar inside the string? No, you can take a wrap you can take a wrap, and right before you land, you can, do everything. I mean, you're not kinking the lines.
Yeah, I mean, one of those lines can hold, what is it, 300 and something pounds or 400 and something pounds?
Yeah.
I think it's 400 pounds or something like that.
I fixed that problem by shortening my brakes, and I don't have that problem no more.
I've never once had to take a wrap, not one single time, between the
I've never taken a wrap either.
Shortening of the brakes and using appropriate trim. I just haven't found it necessary.
I've taken a wrap.
Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
No, I've taken a wrap to see what would happen. Of course, then you end up getting your throttle all caught up in your lines, and it just ends up being a little bit of a mess. So, but I have done it to see what it does, and when I come into land, and it's easier to learn. Instead of taking a wrap, it's easier to learn to land properly. I guess it would be something to say, because I was doing it to see if I can slow down my run, but come to find out, I just was not landing properly. So now that I land better, after, doing this for a year, and, I've learned to, I shorten the brakes and learn to land properly, and everything's good. Life is good.
Yeah.
After,
go ahead.
I was going to say, after bad apples, I turned my wing in for inspection and asked Shannon to shorten my brakes. I think she did 2 or 4 inches. The very first time I flew that thing, I was scared to death, because it was before I had to pull a little bit. Now I just had to think about it, and it was already in a hard turn. Now, I mean, it's helped me flare at the end on landings, and it's been much easier. I haven't had to run as hard, and flying now is extra nice when you don't have to pull 7-8 inches of line to get a hard turn. You only have to pull 4 or 5. So yeah, I'm all for shortening your brakes. Clark's video said he was thinking about shortening his lines like Eric, but the manual, Jesus, says not to do that. If it says not to do it, I wouldn't do it.
Yep, don't do it.
But does it say to take a wrap? See, I mean, if you're having to take a wrap, to me, it sounds like something's not set right.
That is correct, but the instruction manual is a legal thing that they're telling you.
100% agree.
They are telling you don't do it. They're telling you not to tie in your tip steering. They're telling you, they're telling you this because of legal reasons.
But then he's saying that they're telling him, now I'm going to have to pull it up and look at it, not to shorten the brakes or not to take a wrap. The not to take a wrap part, I understand.
Yeah. So the other thing is I think it's Mac Chargers does not recommend tying in the 2D steering. Which
yeah, the Charger, that's that, and I had a Charger, and it is notorious for coming with really long brakes. And I had to shorten my brakes because, well, there was just no other option.
You didn't hook them to your toes?
No, just about had to though.
I know. Yeah. So Steve, to answer Clark's video, Steve, the instruction manual that comes with your wing, those are recommendations because they don't want to be involved in a lawsuit. You are always going to be the pilot in command, and you and your instructor will be the ones that make those decisions.
Not Eric Lear.
Not Eric Lear. Let's see.
Bill H just asked a good question.
If my brakes are parked, there is no slack in the pulley.
Then them brakes are too tight. You're supposed to have some kind of how it was explained to me by Shannon, when they shorten the brakes, when you're flying, if your trailing edge is already pulled down a little bit, they're too tight. It should be no stress on the tail end of your wing until you pull brake. But if you're pulling brake, say 5 or 6 inches and nothing's happening, then what she explained to me, you're able to shorten your brakes, because I guess over time your lines do stretch, and I don't know if my lines had stretched more than normal or whatnot, but when she took I want to say it was 4 inches out of my line. It was, actually I can look that up and tell you exactly. It literally made that a whole new wing, to be honest with you. It was awesome.
Did she replace
and it still is
too?
Yeah, I had because I had that brake issue at Bad Apples where my pulley had actually gotten a wear mark in the pulley. So every time I pulled brake, it was taking the outer sheath off of the line and starting to get into the brake line, which with that happening, your brake, let's say one of your brake lines goes and you look up and you're holding a brake that's not attached to nothing. How in the hell do you land? I just want to know, because you can't flare. Apparently you can grab your D lines and flare at the last second, I guess. But good Lord, I mean, I can't run 25, 30 miles an hour. I can tell you that much right now.
Yep, grab your D lines. Mike Cotter said most wings you will have to make an adjustment with the length of the brake lines. A good rule of thumb is to have no more than 4 inches of brake travel before it engages the trailing edge. So that's there you go. So let's see. He did write one more thing in here. So around the 6-month mark, a lot of pilots are starting to explore further out in their areas, which is awesome. It should be venturing out. They just have to keep in mind that the basics always have an out. Always fly at an altitude that allows you to survey the hazards. Check sky vector for any airspace considerations. Set flight distance goals. What I mean by that is pick a spot at 5 miles, go out, fly around it, or land, and then head back. Next, go out 8 or 10 miles each, while therefore exploring a little bit further, but have a destination. This will give you a much better understanding of navigating their paramotor based on various weather conditions. When they return back to do a few touch and goes or spot landing to practice your skills. Climb up to 1,000 feet, shut your motor off. Yeah, that one right there is something that Jade and I were doing in just wonky air. And it was, I think doing it with clean air is one thing, but when you start getting in gusts and rotor, and in thermals, boy, it takes some practice. And we worked on that for hours when we were down there. But it was fun. It was actually enjoyable to learn what you have to do to that wing to get down in your particular spot. We had motor on, what was it, 5 feet? 5 feet by 5 feet square. And we had to land in, and motor off was 15 feet squared. And in wonky air, it's challenging, but we both did it. So Jade was on her trike. I was doing foot launch. I still have my trike to do down there, and then we'll be good on that training. So, but it was actually fun. So, and that's what we're in this sport to do, is have fun and enjoy it. Now there were some people that were talking their 6 months, and I want to scroll back up and look. Deweese, at my 6 months, I was just getting all of my gear together so I could fly. I was going to bring that up. I'll come back to that one. A lot of people, we kind of talked, what was it, last week when we had the show about schools, whose schools are the best and how to pick a school and stuff like that. A lot of people come out of schools and not have gear still, or, they are purchasing gear while they're in school. And because of the situation that we're in right now, gear is kind of backed up. So, I can understand that they're just waiting to get some gear. And even at the 6-month mark, like Deweese said, she was gathering up gear. And I think right now, that issue is worse than ever. And hopefully they're coming out of that. But yeah, that's where a lot of people are at 6 months, and then they want to get into the air. So if stuff like that happens, hopefully the school that you signed up with will allow you to come back, set that gear up, do hang tests, break that motor in, and get you up in the air. Even though you graduated, hopefully that instructor will allow you to come back and give those opportunities to you and get you up safely.
Hey, Eric, there's one thing, if there was one piece of advice that I wish I had when I first started that I could give to somebody looking to get in the sport, is even before you go to training, pick an instructor, think about gear, hook up with a local group and establish some relationships with some local guys or girls or whatever, so that you're like comfortable. You're not just showing up with the motor on your back saying, hey guys, let's fly. Just kind of establish that support group, because I don't know how it was for anyone else, but the real training for me started after my training, when I started to fly, and
Right.
90% of what I learned happened from that local support group.
Yep.
Making it sound like an AA meeting, just local group of people or pilots. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's good to have, well, it's good to have people that you can talk to. You can always bounce ideas off each other. It's a safety aspect because you're not flying alone. There is so many positives to that. And absolutely, and you can also find out where they went to training and see what the pros or cons are with their instructor or instructors. So
Hey,
I mean,
I do
go ahead.
I do want to point out the only para family that showed up at Swanee is in the chat right now. So I want to give a shout out to Brian Waller and Red, because Jack and myself had a awesome time hanging out with the Waller and the Waller Hauler and Red. Jack and Red played for all day, all night long, and Jack was not the same until I think I got home from work yesterday. He finally started running around, but he was dead the entire ride home and all day when we got home, and the next day he was just absolutely beat. It was awesome.
Well, then I want to give my shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out to my buddy Mark McElroy. Last night when we were doing the sign off, I did a peace sign and I covered up the logo on his t-shirt. So I screwed up my sponsor, I guess, there. But anyways, I'm wearing the shirt backwards tonight, so you can really see the logo regardless.
Well, it's inside out.
Is it?
Anyways, yeah, Mark is lost right now. He's in the chat when he's supposed to be on here, but he says he's out camping. That is the absolute worst excuse I've ever heard that's like the dog ate my homework. So
I know, yeah, he can be in the chat. What's up with that?
I know.
Hold on. Mark's wife actually spent the evening or the night with Mark in his camper for the very first time, and it apparently went very well. Huh. So well that she woke up this morning and went and got a facial because she was super excited about sleeping in the camper. All right, the facial thing is true. The rest of it is all penis.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, so who do we have in the chat? We have Josh Perry, Tony, Aaron I, Bill H, Jim from Canada, of course, Mark and his camper, Mike Cotter, Angela, Josh, Steve Clark, Randy and Deweese. We have Brian. Let's see, we have Mark George. Who? We have Nick Griffith. I saw that. Let's see.
Got Hot Buttered Productions.
Did Steve make it here?
He just showed
Linda.
up.
Hey, Linda. Linda, I tell you what, I'm just going to tell you now, when Jade and I come over to that fly-in the northern part of Lower Michigan. Man, I don't know how to say that. At that Torch Lake, we're going to swing by and we're going to grab you, and you can go with us to a fly-in. You can have the whole back of the RV. That'll be your area, but it'll be fun for you.
When is that one?
It's a fly-in in the southern part of the northern part of southern Michigan. I don't even, what do they call that? I'm so
be North Michigan, wouldn't it?
What?
Wouldn't that be North Michigan, the northern part of southern Michigan?
No, because they have a upper peninsula they call the UP. It's not in the UP. It's on the south side of the Mackinac Bridge. Anyways, it's called Torch Lake. It's super cool.
When is it?
Huh? When? Summertime.
When? Summertime.
Yeah, it was after we came back from Moonshiners. But it was pretty cool. This guy bought this runway or airport, and he flies, but he also flies PPG. He actually was one of Mike Cotter's students, and it is awesome. Yeah, it's Torchport. You take off and you can see Lake Michigan on one side, and I think it's the Torchport Lake on the other side. It's just awesome. It really is.
Where
yeah.
it's called Torch Lake?
Torchport Airport.
Torchport.
Oh, Mike Cotter said late May. Mike, yeah, we're definitely going to be there, but we would like to get a spot on the runway to pull our fifth wheel in there. So
Torch Porch? What's it called? Torch what?
Torchport, P-O-R-T.
Port. Oh.
What was the guy's name that had the videos on energy management?
Let's see. Let me look here. Oh, Jade says she had it. She has it pulled up. Maybe she could share a link here.
I don't see a Torchport or Torchport, Michigan on my maps.
It's on Torch Lake, Mike said. So look on Torch Lake, and it's just to the west between Lake Michigan and Torch Lake. There's a little runway, little airport. And I mean, you think the Bahamas has blue water? This was cool. So, and then last Torchport is the name of the airport. Last May was the first fly in there. So definitely one to want to go to if anybody can make it.
Oh, the fireworks. That was the one with the like municipal style fireworks, right?
Yes.
Dang, what that was an awesome show. I mean, better than what we have around here.
Hey, Will, you want to carpool to that one?
What, the northern, central Michigan? I don't think so.
Yeah,
man.
I'll swing by, pick you up, and we can trade off on driving. It's
yeah, maybe.
It's about 21 hours from my house to there.
So about half. This will be about halfway, or not even. No,
So I don't want to hear nothing about that, because you know how long of a drive it is to Bad Apples. Thank you very much. Anyways,
you're coming down to see us.
well, I know you can come up to see us. Anyways,
You're getting
so
something out of the
Hot
deal.
Buttered Productions wants to know how far away Mike Cotter is from us. Mike's about 7 hours away, unless you go across the Lake Michigan on the ferry, which costs like $8 million. It's expensive, I guess. So Linda Anderson says Torch Lake is 43 minutes from her. That's why I said we're picking you up, Linda.
Yep, get ready, Linda. Sounds like tandem time is finally upon you.
Yeah, it's yeah, Brian. Brian, I think you need to gather up all these nitwits and bring them with you. So, but it was cool. It really was neat. An excellent fly-in. So, but anyways, yeah. So back to our 6 months. So we got. Let's see. We did one thing on training and picking instructors, which was a good one, I think. And then this one was what to expect at 6 months. What you do during training is up to you and your instructor. But I just wanted to kind of touch base on that topic. I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. Mike said also the 200-hour mark is something to be um, quite careful of. So,
I'm fast approaching that. I think I'm at 170 right now.
yeah. I think there's a lot of us that are going to be approaching that. And I think it's because we get a little confident in our skills, which gets us into a little bit of trouble. So,
That's funny because I don't know. I'll have to look back at that and see how much time I had when I did the creek thing. When I went to the creek, might have been around. I don't know. Maybe.
I've been right at 200 hours.
There's a correlation to that too. As a flight instructor, those same studies have been done with new pilots, and new pilots are like super safe because they're by the book. They make sure everything is just right, and then you get cocky after a certain period of time, and then your risk of having an accident goes up. So yeah, I can see that happening.
Steve Clark says, just think, Linda, you're finally going to get up in the air. Well, Linda, just so you're aware, by then we will have our tandem trike and our tandem ratings. So yes, if you would like to go into the air and willing to go up with Jade, she
By
will.
the time you land, Linda, you will have your PPG one.
or you're just PPing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that'd be a good time. So on a lot of these newer pilots, is there something, out in the chat, is there something you guys want us to do research and look into for you guys? And I know that Hot Buttered Steve is, he's wanting to have a channel on just basically new pilots and things that they can ask. But, and that's going to be awesome. But until you get that going, I mean, is there anything that we can reach out and get information on to let you know, or to help you out or lead you in the right direction so you can get some answers, for what you're looking for. And then
Jim
we
asked a
have,
question about how deep into a wingover can a person get before it's dangerous. About the time you ever been on a swing set and been swinging as high as you can and start getting light in your seat, and then you get a little air and then it come down and you keep going. That's about where you start getting dangerous into a wingover, and especially if you're not pulling outside brake into your wingovers, you can take a tip collapse.
yeah, it's when those lines go limp. That's when it's bad. So
Yeah.
that's why they say that there's the micro mini wingovers are okay. You get into that angle where those lines get limp, and that's where you can actually end up gift wrapping yourself, or you fall through your lines and now you're tangled and it's a mess. That's why you see them when they do barrel rolls, they'll get into the throttle to keep pressure on those lines.
Walter wants to know how my bathroom is coming along. It's coming along very slowly. Between we have three, I work in a small department, like less than 9 people. We have 3 of them out with knee injuries. And so I'm having to work extra hours to cover the overtime stuff, fly-ins. Yeah, so I'm about midway up the wall, and I'm into the difficult parts of cutting out the windows, the window seal, the niche, cutting around the diverter, all that stuff. So I got some work done tonight. Got frustrated after 2 wrong cuts, and so I'm here. That's why I was late. I was gonna I was gonna be live, but on mute and let you guys watch it. But after I messed up on 2 cuts, I was like, oh, thank God no one saw that because I'm an idiot. So I quit and we cleaned up, and here we are.
That's the very stuff we want to see, Shane.
Oh, listen, I cut the tile wrong, and then went outside and made the exact same measurements and cut the tile wrong again. I was like, all right, I'm done. Like I'm over it.
Oh,
So it's coming along, but slowly.
So you're saying the neighbors are going to have to listen to the wet saw again tomorrow?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I mean, by 8 o'clock, I don't want to be out there running the wet saw. And again, I work late tomorrow, so I won't get home till 5:30, 6 o'clock. I mean, what good is it to throw together some thin set and try to cut tile until 8? There's really not enough time. So I think I will just hold off until Thursday and Friday, and then all day Saturday and Sunday. And I should, my goal is to have all the tile work done by Sunday afternoon.
nice.
The floor is easy. I just have to get these once I get above the window, once I get above the niche on one wall, the window on the other wall, and the diverter, it's pretty simple after that. It's not that hard. It's just, I'm a little frustrated with work and having to work as much as I am right now because, well, you got 3 people that are out on injury, not their fault. But there's 2 other people that like to call out sick because they don't feel like coming in and covering anybody else's work. So there I am going, yeah, I'll do it. Not happy about it, but I'll do it.
Right.
So, and this bathroom, I'm just seem to be throwing money at it. So this overtime, instead of, normally I just do comp time, but yeah, I was like, yeah, I could use the extra money. I got a $400 vanity to buy, a $200 sink or faucet. Krista's killing me.
Huh.
Hey, Eric, have you heard?
What's that?
Yeah, the word. No, I was watching the 6 o'clock news, and it appears as though Jade has a new chicken.
Jade does have a new chicken. We, one of the teachers that she works with, well, you know what? I will let her tell you, but I do want to say one thing. Hey, Walter, how are you? And when I was asking, what would you guys like us to find out and get answers for you? Bill H says, yeah, how to retire and travel to fly-ins all the time. So that you're going to have to talk to Will and
Waller.
Shane about, because I have to work.
No, Waller.
Yeah,
No,
talk to
Brian
Waller.
Waller.
Retired.
He's the one that one week he's in like Wisconsin, next he's back in Florida, then he's out in Texas, and the guy's all over the place.
DP? Isn't he in like England?
Yeah, what was that
DP?
about? So
I don't know. I have no idea. But I think he's in
Anyway.
London.
yeah, I'll let Jade talk about her chicken.
Well,
Don't be
I
picking.
was, what did you see, Will?
Something about a new rooster.
Oh, yeah. So last Saturday, it's been kind of planned for maybe this past week, that we try a new rooster out. And the gentleman is a teacher. He's a shop teacher at school, and his wife is a secretary. They apparently have 12 hens, and my past rooster was killed by the neighbor's dog. And so we're going to try it again. And we've got I think he was born this spring. This one is afraid of humans. He runs as fast as possible, kind of like Banana. But seems to be doing okay with the adjustment of hanging out with the girls. So that's it.
So how's he doing with the new? Wait, he's a rooster, and Banana is
Banana's a hen. She started laying eggs about 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay. Okay. So they're not both roosters. All right.
And
So how are they
Bananas,
getting along?
today Eric came home and he took a picture for me. Those two were hanging out together. And I actually have Banana in with the 4 other hens that always pick on Banana, which is one of them is Mom, and seems to be doing okay right now. I think like the family that gave us Dust Ball is his name. They said that the rooster apparently calms down the pecking order. So I'm still learning this whole chicken farming thing. So it was just a COVID boredom thing. Let's try this.
How does he crow?
He's not as loud as Henry was, but he's young. He goes about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know if we heard him tonight or not, but he's not as loud. My neighbor Mary did text me today and say, "When did you get a rooster?" I said, "I'm sorry." She goes, "No, I thought it was the coolest thing I heard." So
Yeah, that's what she said out loud. That's not what she thought.
yeah. Hey, while Eric was talking, I found the video when we were in Torchport, Michigan, and I put that link in the chat. So if you guys wanted to check it out, I know Shane was asking temperature wise then, and we were wearing shorts and then sweatshirts in the evening. So
How about
Well,
the
I was asking that because instead of pulling my trailer and everything up there, I would just drive my truck and use my tent. And I was wondering if I needed my air conditioning or not, but it doesn't sound like it.
no, I don't think so. When did Mike say it was? In end of May? Yeah, no.
So Jade, with you having chickens and everything, you don't eat those, right?
No.
So would you rather eat a baby goat or oh, what's the other one? Oh, never mind. I'll come back later. I can't think of it now. Sorry.
leave us
Good.
hanging?
My head is all screwed up.
Let's see, what else?
Oh, would you rather eat a baby goat or a wrong baby?
A what baby?
A wrong baby.
What's wrong, baby?
What's a wrong baby?
Nothing.
Nothing. What's wrong with you?
Oh my God.
Sorry.
If you're watching this on not on video, Eric is not laughing.
No, I'm laughing inside.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do want to throw one more thing in on our 6-month chat. Mike said at 6 months, the average pilot probably has 25 to 35 flight hours, which really isn't a whole lot. They're still newbies and should treat themselves as such. So, like Shane and Jade, myself, we're going to be coming. I'm not 100% sure where I'm at on hours, and I know that I'm getting up there on engine hours, but you got to remember that's idle time, warm up time, stuff like that. And I consider myself still a fairly new pilot. Every time I go up, I learn something new. I try to do it the safest as I possibly can do. I am I'm the guy that will sit there and watch. I'm a sponge. I like to learn things. So I am constantly watching videos on even on weather, airspace, everything. I want to know as much as I can for the safety aspect is the main reason, but also, so I don't create a problem that can affect others in the sport. And I think that's huge also. So, no, just, I thank Mike Cotter very much. Fly My PPG. We will see you at the Torchport fly-in. Hopefully get a couple of these other guys out there from these shows. It was an amazing fly-in. The owner is an amazing guy also. He's got a story. I would love to have him on one of these shows to tell his story. I'm not going to get into it now, but thank you very much, Mike, for the information that you have provided all of us. I want to show, let's see, I want to screen share this, and I will try. Or not. Hold on. Talk for a second. Let me find what I'm doing here. Or not. Talk.
I was just gonna say, or not.
Okay. I want to do this.
So what is there to see around Michigan Airport there?
Well, so what Jade and I did is we flew in the mornings, and we flew. Hold on a second. Is Jade robbing the show? Get the hell out of here. Anyways, we flew in the morning, and then we went over to Mackinac Bridge and wandered around there, which was kind of busy. All right. Can you guys see this?
Yes.
You see the shirts?
Yes.
All right. This is one of them that Jade has been plugging away at. There's the front. And of course, everybody has seen these. This one, the same one. And then this one is my favorite. So I think all the girls need to be getting that shirt.
What's a small writing on it say?
Man, I love flying. I don't know how to make it bigger. Let's see. How's that?
I see it now.
Jade's been busy making shirts. So, but what? Okay, this is why you're not allowed on the show. Anyways,
I'm not sure what's going on there.
right.
Getting ready for Thanksgiving.
Anyways, I'm going to cut. It is 8 o'clock. I'm going to cut the live. Jade's going to put the after show information in the chat. You all are welcome to come join us and talk to Jade about her shenanigans that she's doing on there. And check out the other shows we have on Monday night. We have Clear Prop TV. Tuesday night is this show. Wednesday night is Jade's show, paramotorgirl.com. And Krista is on there with her. On Thursday night, we have paraglidingtalk.com. And then on Sunday, there is going to be a new show with Hot Butter Steve and Josh Perry, and they are going to be making fun of videos, paragliding videos. I think it's all going to be in good humor. I hope nobody takes any offense to it, but with them, it should be pretty comical. Can't wait to see a show, and I think they're going to be doing it starting this Sunday, sorry, at 7 p.m. Central. So check that
Well,
out.
I have a video coming out from this past fly-in that they probably will end up making fun of because I was doing a cross country and had to land to go to the restroom, and it's pretty funny.
There you go. There you go. So let's see, Jay, did you put that in the show? And I see the passcode. Okay, so hopefully she got everything in there for you guys. But anyways, you all have a good night, and we will talk to you later. Bye, guys.
I see the password. I don't see the